Welcome to Spirit Club, a podcast and community where we talk about what's really running the show, your inner world. I'm Angel, your host, your guide, and your spiritual bestie. Around here, we're all about doing the inner work because your outer reality is only ever a reflection of what's going on within. We practice radical ownership, freedom in faith, surrendering our path to God, and trusting our intuition like our lives depend on it. Because honestly, they do. So take a breath, open your heart, and let's dive in. Hey Spirit Club, welcome back. So I have a question for you. Is your mind super busy right now? Do you find yourself projecting and planning into the future a lot? And are you feeling an internal call back to presence? If so, this episode is for you. And me, it turns out. I am currently, I don't know when this episode will air, but I'm in wedding planning era, which is a crazy time. And I'm finding it's really pulling me out of presence. And there's this call back to presence. And being present, this is one of the basics, and it kind of felt a little silly to do an episode on it because I was like, we all know, we know. But this really feels like a call to presence right now. I'm sure that you've done some work around being present at many different times in your life, but it's these very simple and basic sort of spiritual teachings that we often return to time and time again. So let's talk about it. So I was just, kind of asking God, asking Spirit, why is presence coming up as an episode we need to talk about today? And the first message I was getting was that it is sort of the time collectively. There's a lot of fast-paced energy going on right now in the collective. At time of filming, this is Aries season. I think all the planets are direct and in Aries or something like that. So that's a lot of forward motion. And then we know this is the year of the fire horse in Chinese astrology. So there's a lot of just forward momentum. It's a year one. So there's a lot of this going on, and that tends to take us out of the presence. And so for you, that might look like big changes that are happening right now or up ahead, something big on the horizon. It may be a big event like myself. You have like maybe a big trip, or for me, I have a wedding, something big that you are planning. But ultimately, whatever this presence is coming up right now, because ultimately you're moving towards a new reality that is more aligned than your previous reality. And presence is crucial for you to actually receive the new reality, right? Because if we move into a more aligned reality, but we are not present to it, it's like we're never there, right? It's like if you work forever to get somewhere and then you get there and you don't even realize you're there because you're thinking of the next thing. So that's ultimately why presence is coming up right now. And so I was feeling into okay, what are the beliefs, as we do here at Spirit Club? What are some of the beliefs around presence that are alive right now in this community? And I've got 3. So the first one is, if I don't plan or keep doing, I won't get where I'm going, or I won't get where I want to go. And the message I got for this one is just a validation that you are going where you're meant to go. You are on the way. It's like you've done all the work to get on the train. And now you're feeling like you need to work hard enough to be in front of the train, but you don't need to do that. You are on the train. And you are not neglectful, Spirit Club. It's not like you're going to allow this to pass you by. You are going to do what is required, but you don't need to do more than is required. That's going to take you so far out of presence. So, what if I were to just slow down and ride the train? What if I were to allow the train to take me and just invoke a little trust that that I am headed where I'm headed. I'm going there. Okay? And the second belief that came up is if I slow down and I'm present, a truth will be revealed. When I feel into this one, I'm like, oh, it's true. Yes, there is a knowing, there is a truth within you that you know to be true, and slowing down, you're going to have to face that. You're going to have to meet that. And so that's up to you. You know, that's the old ignorance is bliss. If you want, you can delay that truth, but the truth will come out. The truth will come forward. And I just have this sense, Spirit Club, that the truth that will be revealed to you is actually going to give you so much more, so much more direction and clarity and alignment. It's not as bad as what you're afraid of. So if that gives you any strength and courage to slow down and be present to that, I hope that helps. And then the third belief that's coming up around presence and why we're being taken so far out of presence is it's all up to me. I have to do it all. Wrong. Not true. Not true. And not a belief that's serving any of us. I'm sure listening to this, you're like, yeah, that's me. And that doesn't have to be true. First of all, there are people in your life that can help you. Yes, there are. But also know that you're never doing anything alone. You are supported. You are loved and supported by God. So let's just breathe that one in. Okay. So I have 10 little tips, practical ways that we can practice presence right now with what's going on. So the first one is daily meditation. I know it is so generic. This is a generic tip, but here's what I'll say. Most of you have had a meditation practice and maybe you've stepped away from it. Maybe you're not currently in it. And every once in a while, we are called back to the basics. And just like with this episode, presence is a basic. And meditation is sort of the foundation of presence. And, you know, without the awareness that meditation gives you, all of these tips I'm about to give you on how to be more present aren't going to apply because you won't have awareness. You won't have the ability to even notice that you're not being present. And what gives you that ability? Meditation. So even just a tiny little daily meditation practice, now's the time. Use that tool. Okay. Second way to be more present is to use your senses. Use your 5 senses. So, you know, say you could try it right now. You can use your eyes and look around and start to take in some detail that you would overlook if you were, you know, planning in your mind, spiraling in your mind, but taking a look around at detail, at color, at texture. You can use your ears and you can listen to, of course, my voice, but you can listen to sounds that might be a little further away. You can use taste, recognizing the taste in your mouth, breathing in through your nose and noticing any scents in the room. My room right now smells like a church candle. It's very beautiful. And you can use touch. So you can just kind of touch, notice the texture in the fabric, and just using these 5 senses to ground you into the present. And you can kind of call that in at any point in the day when you find your mind is just going. Okay, third tip is gratitude. Duh. And sorry for stating something so obvious again. But gratitude requires a lot of presence. I personally pray multiple times a day, and prayer for me always involves a thank you, always involves gratitude. And this has me, number one, noticing the small things. Because when you're saying thank you and you're showing gratitude multiple times a day, you're going to start to take notice of more and more things. So it has you noticing the small things. And in order to notice the small things, we must be present, right? when we are not present, it's kind of like a broad stroke what we're seeing. We're seeing very little of what's going on. The second thing that presence does is it has me preferentially noticing the good. Preferentially noticing the good. And when I'm focused on what's good, I'm less likely to leave the present moment, right? Because a lot of the time we're leaving the present moment because we don't like it. We're trying to like work towards a moment that we'll like more, or a moment that we can control into something that's good. But if I'm noticing more of what's good, then I'm in the good and I'll want to stay there. And bonus, the more you notice what's good, the more you magnetize what's good, the more life just is good. So gratitude, major hack to presence. Okay, fourth practical tip for presence is to spend unproductive time with people. The longer the better. So this is something that Greece has really taught Shane and I. You know, I can remember one of the first, dinners that we had with the family, the Greek family that we're close to out here. You know, we're used to a dinner being like, 2 hours. And no, this dinner was like 6 hours. And it's not like there was a ton going on. Nope, you just eat and you just sit and you just talk about whatever, small details, not big things, lots of silent moments, all that sort of thing. And I remember that first time we were like kind of checking our watches. We were kind of, so should we go? Like, doing the Canadian thing. And now we've graduated to, we spend long, I'm going to call it unproductive time with people here. And it has taught us so much about presence. So yeah, there's a tip for you. Number 5 is to intentionally leave your phone at home, or, intentionally put your phone somewhere that you don't have access to it. But I say leave your phone at home because when you go out, there will be these like sort of slow moments. Maybe you're waiting in line at a grocery store. Maybe you are, having your coffee, whatever it happens to be, that you unconsciously pick up your phone and you start doing, you scroll, whatever it is, and it takes you out of the present moment. But you forget your phone. If you don't have your phone with you, you'll go looking for it, you won't find it, and then you'll be like, okay, here I am in the present moment. So this is a great, throwing yourself in the deep end, but also just giving yourself those micro opportunities for presence. All right, number 6, don't overschedule. So again, one that I didn't used to be very good at. Back in my previous life, you should have seen my days. They were scheduled down to the hour and I had so much scheduled into the day and I did it all. But when you overschedule, you kind of what's next. And so you're not really being where you are because you're like, okay, I got to be into what's next. Let me think about what's next. Okay, I've got this much time in this moment and then I got to move on to the next thing. So not overscheduling is very supportive to more presence. And again, another thing that we have learned a lot here, especially if we are spending time with people, we will not schedule something directly after, or we'll leave lots and lots of buffer time so that we can be really present and then almost like naturally feel into when something is ready to end rather than it has to end because of the schedule. And that takes me out of the present moment. All right, number 7 is to practice play. To play more in life. What is play? Play's so hard to describe. Play is, unproductive and fun. Unproductive and fun time. How often do we do that? And obviously we can look to children. Children are such a great example of what play looks like. Generally an unproductive thing. They're just playing. So maybe we don't feel particularly called to play in the way a child plays, but there's so many ways to play, and allow yourself to get creative about it. I had a client, I hope she's listening, that we were working together in mentorship over a long period of time. And one day I gave her sort of the assignment to play for 30 minutes a day. And she had to get creative about what that looks like. And one day she literally sent me a picture from a playground. She just went to a playground, played on the swings, went down the slide, and I was like, this is amazing. It was amazing. Shout out. So yeah, many ways you can be playful, have fun. It's important that it's not productive, that you're not getting something done in any way. I mean, other than the fact that you are getting playing done, if that counts. But yeah, you can play in your garden. You could play in your closet, like trying on different looks. You can play with your makeup. I don't know. Make it unproductive and fun. And this will teach you so much more about presence. Play and presence, I think they may mean the same thing almost, Okay, number 8. Number 8 and 9 are for my folks listening who have a ton on the go, who are planning, who are doing a bunch, okay? For you, number 8 is to brain dump and prioritize. So brain dumping, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure you know, is just like spitting out on the page everything that you need to do. Spit it all out, okay? Step 1, just onto the page. Messy, unorganized, whatever it is. But it's really important because when you get it out of your mind and give it a place to live, you then don't have to carry the mental load of it. And when the page is carrying the mental load and not you, that gives you more range and presence. But when you're carrying the mental load, you're kind of worried about forgetting, if I don't think about this, then I will lose it, whatever. Put it on the page and let it be there until you have set aside time to work through that. And I added to the brain dump prioritizing because once you brain dump everything, you'll see some things need to be done and some things don't. Some things need to be done tomorrow and some things need to be done 6 months from now. And so kind of creating a priority will also help with putting boundaries around your planning, scheduling, organizing, brainstorming, and all that sort of thing. So that's number 8, which naturally flows into number 9, which is to put boundaries around your planning. Put boundaries around your brainstorming, around your researching. Okay, I know you got big things coming up, big changes, big plans, big event, whatever it happens to be, a wedding. Put boundaries around when you are allowed to think about it, to plan about it, to talk about it, whatever that happens to be. I've really had to put boundaries around myself with the wedding. I've got other work that I do in the world, such as this podcast, such as my Substack. And if I don't sort of compartmentalize and say, okay, this time of day, no wedding talk on the table, no wedding planning on the table, then I would never be able to do anything but the wedding, So putting those boundaries down, you decide what they are for you. But it's really up to you whether or not you enforce them. But again, it's like almost compartmentalizing enough so that you can be present. Because right now it's a free-for-all, and when you're in a free-for-all, it's going to take you out of the present all the time. Okay, number 10. Oh my gosh, we're already at number 10. Okay, number 10. This is just kind of almost like a frame to see things in, and that is remind yourself that there is a past version of you that wanted to have what you have right now, that wanted to be where you are right now, that wanted something in your reality that you have right now, you have. And by reminding yourself of that, it takes you to the present because, how dare I overlook the fact that I am right where I was trying to be? There's a past version of me that was projecting into the future, to this future, and now I'm here and I'm not being here. It's like a crime. So just kind of allowing that perspective, honoring that past version of you, and that will allow you to be more present now, and also it's going to train you to be more present with where you're going. Because like I said, where you're going is a more aligned place than where you were previously, than maybe where you are now. And don't you want to enjoy it? Don't you want to be present to it? Otherwise, what's the point? Why are we doing it at all? So that's it. That's your how to bring more presence back to your life. And if you would just give me another couple minutes of your time, I thought I would just bring us into the present moment together. So let's close our eyes. If you can, if you're driving, whatever, just listen to my voice. And if you can place your hand on your heart and just feeling the pressure of your hand on your heart. Feeling your chest move, moving your hand up and down. Attune your ears to any sounds beyond my voice. Not trying to change them or judge them, just listening. Maybe taking note of the taste in your mouth. And now imagine that there's a clock in the room, and as the second hand on the clock ticks, 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 you watch it slow down and come to a complete stop. As though this moment in time has stopped time. And time is being gloriously stretched. Stretched for you so that you can have this moment. You can have and you can be. And just sit here and be. Gloriously be. Finally, you'll close this present moment with a thank you. Start with a thank you for something really small, some small detail of your life or your day. And now you're going to zoom out just a little bit and say a thank you for something a little bit bigger, something more meaningful in your life. And now we'll zoom even further out. Zoom so far out that you're almost looking down on this moment, looking down on your life, where things are at in your life, where you've reached. And now you'll say a big thank you. A big zoomed out thank you. Thank you for what is. Remembering that at one time, right where you are is exactly what you wanted. Great Spirit Club. Just bring yourself back, making sure to feel your feet on the floor. You can open your eyes. And I'll leave you there. Until next time, much love.